Before we start, I do want to let you know this program is brought to you by the Virtual Student Center, the Student Resource and Empowerment Center, and the Business, Computer Science, and IT Pathway. So we are going to go ahead and get started and kick it off with Juju Rutherford, and she's from NASA Langley Research Center. And please let me know if you can share your screen.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Juju Rutherford. I'm here with NASA Langley Research Center. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up my charts right now. So my talk today will be very brief. It's about a lot of what I do here at NASA Langley Research Center. Again, my name is Juju Rutherford, Dr. Juju Rutherford. I am a contamination control and planetary protection. I am the lead for NASA Langley Research Center for our facilities, but also in our projects. But I also have another job where I am the assistant branch head for the systems integration and test branch. And so the title for today's talk is, it's rocket surgery, how contaminants can ruin a multi-million-dollar spacecraft. So what is NASA's product? You know, people always ask me, you know, what is the heart of what we do in our missions, and, you know, what drives us as an agency? And I almost always say data. No matter what mission directorate you're focusing on, whether it's the Aeronautics Research Mission Directorate, ARMD, Space Technology Mission Directorate, HTMD, Human Exploration and Operations Mission Direction, HEO, MD, or Science Mission Directorate, we're all driven by our passion for data. And so this is a great this overview of kind of how mission operations, you know, work hard here to, you know, create these data acquisition packages and the hardware itself, and, you know, the science operations that go hand in hand to really get us this data so that we can understand more about, you know, this is more focused on our Earth science missions, but we have a ton of focuses of missions that we focus here as an agency. And so when you're asking yourself, you know, what is some of the biggest risks that we have when we're trying to get a lot of this data? Well, contamination. It can really mess a lot of things up. And so contamination is defined as any matter, solid, liquid, gas, that can adversely affect its system. And so essentially, this stuff, especially in the space environment, you are in a vacuum environment, it can migrate from one source to another, and it can start to create flakes and wear down materials from the particles. Those molecules, as they migrate in molecular species, can actually go out in a process called outgassing, where these films can start to develop. Actually, that image in the far right corner there with the riverbed cracking, there is actually a molecular film that was deposited inside one of our chambers that we use to simulate space. And on the far left corner there is some of the examples of some of the particles that we see fall out on mirrors. And so this matter can actually impact the way systems can perform, because if you have this optic, which are like the eyeballs of the spacecraft. When you have those lenses become obscured with these types of films, eventually light can no longer transmit through that lens. And if that's a problem for the heart of your data, you'll see your science start to degrade over time. And so a lot of contamination control is a lot of problem solving. And so it can be very time consuming. And so here, typically a lot of our processes involve us working in these rooms called clean rooms. So the folks there down in those white suits, we call them bunny suits. That's our clean room, 40-foot clean room here on center is our largest clean room facility. And essentially we have a bunch of filters that are inside that room, HEPA filters. So high efficiency particulate air filters. They have to filter the air, but also it's more than just the air filtration, it's actually the people themselves bringing in contamination. So that's what we dress up in these white bunny suits to make sure that we can protect our hardware as we're building hardware and testing stuff to go to space. And so a lot of the process for contamination control is, as we're monitoring these clean rooms, we're taking samples by either taking wipes or swabs to understand what the material might be, the contaminant on a surface. It takes a lot of time to really understand chemically what that is. And so our team has developed this portable Raman spectroscopy system where That's that little blue box face there. There's a little microscope next to it where we can actually take this little shoebox size instrument to us with us to any launch site or any of our partners where we're building spacecraft, say at another facility, and we can actually understand the molecular composition. So chemically, what is it? And the what is it, it matters, because getting that instantaneously results can really make sure that we can respond faster. Again, this is millions of dollars, upwards to billions of dollars, depending on the payload. And we want to make sure that the science integrity is being maintained. So the biggest question folks always ask me is, well, how did you get to NASA? Well, this was my path. I went to school a lot. Actually started at community college, actually at TCC, and doing some of my undergraduate preliminary studies there, and transferred into Old Dominion University, finished up 2 degrees, one in chemistry and one in biochemistry. From there, worked in the field of chemical oceanography for a while, decided, you know what, I really think I need to go out and get a graduate degree. And it was in that process of me going back to school through Norfolk State University to study material science and engineering, where I came upon this program called the Pathways. And so that's the Pathways was one of the many internship programs, but it's more than an internship program. It's actually a co-op program where we bring in a lot of folks from various fields. It's not just engineering or science related, it's all the fields. So, you know, whether you're accountants or you're IT professionals or even medical professionals, there's a Pathways program. Often there's a call through all the agencies, and NASA has strongly been using this process to really help backfill a lot of our needs for maintaining the ability to do this work. And so I got a lot of experience, and I was willing to do, the job, and a lot of on-the-job training. And one thing I would say for those who are interested is, if you're interested in coming to NASA, I did this very long, drawn-out process. On the right, it's probably more of a streamlined process. So there's actually several programs through the Virginia Space Grant Consortium where we start at the high school level, trying to get students interested in working and getting understanding of what NASA does as an agency. From there, there's also programs that are specifically geared towards community college students. STEM Takes Flight is one of the biggest ones that I've been recruiting myself for students to come work with me, and that's the one there in the middle. And then at the end, there is actually another program, which is the NIFS, the NASA Internships and Fellowship Program. Is another way to come in as a college student at any level, whether you're at the undergraduate level or you are working towards your PhD. And then, of course, those looking specifically for employment and jobs, the USA Jobs portal is a great way to look up for the Pathways jobs, and I've got the link there too. And so that is a great way for you to understand, just, you know, everyone's path is different, but there's these tools, or there's some strategy there. And so I highly encourage you all to apply to these opportunities. And that is it for today for my talk. Any questions?
All right, we'll go to the next presenter. We have Jessica Johnson with Virginia Modeling Analysis and Simulation Center, also known as Vmask.
Hello, everyone. So I'm going to get my slides going here for you all. So I am from the Virginia Modeling Analysis and Simulation Center, ODU Vmask. So I'm going to talk today about really what we do here, and the umbrella term, and it's long. We like our acronyms at ODU. It's the Computational Modeling and Simulation Engineering Program that's at ODU. And for those of you who don't know, you know, we actually are obviously in Hampton Roads. Main campus for ODU is in Norfolk, but we are actually over here in Northern Suffolk. So we're right next to the Tri-City Center, you know, in between Suffolk and Portsmouth. But we are an applied research center specifically for ODU, and we host lots of students as interns, ODU students, students from community college, and even down through high school. So Vmask, I said again, is an applied research center. We have over 100 research faculty and staff. And one of our main things that we have that we can host workshops. We can host training sessions is in our 6,000 square foot reconfigurable simulation lab where we have VR, AR. We now have a mini fab lab that has 3D printers, laser cutters. We're working on getting a CNC machine. And the whole idea is to showcase to potential students and potential, research faculty and project scientists here at Vmask of the power of digital prototyping, which then of course can lead to the physical prototyping of 3D printing and all of that. So really, really quickly, because I know I have just a short amount of time, CMSE really is a part of your everyday life. And what I love about ModSim specifically is it's this umbrella career, if you would think about it that way, that really encompasses everything about STEM, the science, the technology, the engineering specifically, and the mathematics. So those of us here, I am the director of STEM and student engagement, but my specific pathway, I'm an immersive learning experience designer. So I utilize AR, augmented reality, virtual reality to also create physics-based serious games. So my passion is understanding and researching how people learn, especially in immersive environments and experiential hands-on components. So I'm not going to read all of this, but this is just a little bit of the background. Really, we're using technology to solve real-world, everyday problems. So really quickly, CMSE really got its start back in with military, with war games, which you see at the bottom of the screen, but then also tactical medical, doctors who are working in the government, specifically on the field. They were utilizing technologies to enhance training for surgical procedures. So at the top screen, what you're seeing is an example of, every day now we have, instead of residents and upcoming candidates for surgeries, those students, they're utilizing this technology actually instead of using cadavers first or before they of course practice on you. So other things, we have a flight simulator, and the great thing here about Vmask is our research staff, project scientists really come from a diverse background from the different STEM fields. So here at Vmask, yes, the flashy things are VR and AR, but we have, robotics engineers, software engineers. We have cybersecurity professionals, those who specialize in mathematics and data analytics, and the list goes on and on and on. My field specifically focuses on education and training, and specifically in the game design area. But the interesting thing is there's also applications in archaeology and history, of course, arts and humanities. So I wanted to show you really, really quickly for the time that I have left. In some of the research that has been done and on some TED Talks, we know that we have 5 senses. However, with this technology, there is a word on the street is that we actually have more than our 5 senses. So there could be up to 20 different sensory perceptions. And so some of our research focuses on that. So we have a flight simulator here at Vmask. We've done projects with Simmus even, who's on the call here. So we have a wide variety of academic partners and industry partners. And then this was just a really cool project I want to show you all to tie in sort of the STEAM, the A, and the humanities side of STEAM. So this was a project that was done a few years ago. This is actually an archaeological dig site in Çatalhöyük, which is now the recent day Turkey over in the Middle East. And so what our project scientists and research faculty did was they worked with the archaeologists on this dig site to create some immersive environments to understand what it was really like to live in those past civilizations. So the cool thing about this project, it brought in professionals who have a wide variety of expertise in game design, software engineering, animations, 3D modeling, and the list goes on and on and on. And as I continue to move through a couple of things, I know my time's about up here, but what we've also utilized some of this past research for is understanding how we can create inclusive environments. So those specifically who are on the autism spectrum, those who have different abilities than others, we're utilizing the research to actually create hands-on multisensory applications for education, for training purposes. So I feel like I'm going really, really quickly here, but the student engagement piece is important here at Vmask. So like I said in the beginning, we really pride ourselves in hiring interns. That could be summer interns, semester-based, from community colleges like TCC. A lot of you end up coming to ODU through our pipelines. Yes, so excited about that. But we also offer positions that are open. So for those of you who are in the STEM Promise program with specific skill sets in some of the fields that we work in, we'll hire you. So I'm going to pause there because I know my time is about up, but I'll put some more information in the chat about our websites, upcoming positions that are open. And then we do have ongoing research where it might not be semester based, it might be several years worth of research you can do with us as you learn more and have fun with us here at ODU. So,
all right. Well, next we have Pete DiPaola from Microsoft.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Jada. Hello, everybody. Welcome and thanks for having us. Can you all see my screen? One second here. I'm going to share it. And there, you should see it now.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Azure, our platform Azure, which is we consider that the world's computer. And I'll tell you why in a second. I am Pete DiPaola. I am in what's called Azure Global Organization within Microsoft. I'm a program director there. My team really helps customers all over the world to land on our platform, land on Azure. Azure, I'll get into some more details, but it's basically made up of over 1,000 different services and capabilities that customers can use that they would normally use in a data center that they might have on site, that we have provided those capabilities in the cloud. So like I said, part of Azure Global Engineering, and we build the world's computer. So what is Azure? So basically when you think about building applications, building solutions for customers, it's really around compute, storage, networking, identity, security. So Azure covers those capabilities. And when you say things like storage, it might be databases. It could be structured, unstructured databases, those kind of things. Different kinds of databases like Cosmos DB or Databricks, or that's a tool that's used against databases, those kinds of things. And that's all, and usually in your IT group, that's all supported by management, compliance, policies, those kind of things. So Azure is supported by all that within your organization. So none of that from an organization's perspective goes away. So some of these may look familiar. These are all built on Azure, all these solutions. LinkedIn, you may have seen that. If you've used Word, Excel, PowerPoint anytime recently, it's powered by Azure. Dynamics 365, that's kind of a customer relationship management tool. It's used for Salesforce management, those kind of things, as well as supply chain and different, it's kind of like a mini ERP system. Microsoft Power Platform, which it's made up of data analytics, something called Power BI, Power Apps. Very quick and easy to build applications in the cloud and use them and leverage them as well. GitHub, if you're a developer, you might be familiar with this. This is an open source repository for code, and it's where you can store code. You can have private repos or public and share that with your team. And again, you could have team members that are in Ireland or Japan, across the world, and it's all they're all accessed through Azure. xCloud, if you've played an Xbox game recently, you've probably used Azure, because xCloud allows connectivity to allow Xbox to use different devices, whether it's your phone, whether it's a console, Xbox console, or whether it's a computer. You can you can actually, that's what's driving Xbox behind the scenes, is something called xCloud, which is built on Azure as well.
Oh, it feels good in here.
Everyone, please make sure you're muted.
Continue on Widgeon Road for 3/4 of a mile.
Okay, I'll go ahead and continue. So like I said, Azure's the world's computer. Basically, we are in over 60 different regions, Azure regions, and you see them here. Over 200 data centers that we have across the globe, 4 million servers that makes up. And I saw a stat the other day, and it was over 200,000 miles of fiber that we've run to connect all these data centers. So for instance, like when you open up a Word document, we have something called high availability zones. What happens is you open up that Word document, that data is not going to exist in any one server or any one data center. That data might exist in 4 or 5 or even 6, depending on how you set up Azure to do that for redundancy and for high availability. So we have data centers. Probably the closest one to us would be Boykin, Virginia, which is south of here. It's near, I think it's southwest. And so that's where is one of our data centers, but we have over 200 of them across the world. And we're growing this and we're looking at this all the time. That's part of what my group does as well. They actually look to where we're going to put data centers and what kind of services are going to be available in those data centers. Moving on. So typically a customer's journey to the cloud, you have on-premise. So this is where you have your basically your data center, where you can walk by and you can see the windows, you can see all the servers in there, all the lights blinking, that kind of thing. And then customers typically what they do is when they start moving their workloads to Azure, what they do is they basically virtualize those servers and then move those as a component. The issue with that is they're still having to do patches, they're still having to update their servers, making sure that they've got the latest security on them. And so you still have that kind of overhead. Versus when they start moving towards a serverless environment, which is total cloud, and in different applications, now all that maintenance of those servers goes away. The difference, think of the analogy as like when you build a house, you have to build a power plant outside your house to power it. That would be the analogy of on-premise or IaaS, right? That you're having to maintain that power plant versus taking a plugging it into the wall, and now you got power, right? You're getting that power from somewhere else. You pay for what you use, right? So if you run a toaster, or you run a hair dryer, the more you use, the more you pay. And that's the idea there versus having everything on-prem where you still have a cost, right? You have an operational cost to maintain that. So as students begin to look at the careers, they look at the differences between do I want to sit there and just update servers all day long with patches and things like that, or do I want to write code, or do I want to do something a little bit more innovative, right? So let's see here. There it goes. Okay, so basically we plan things out on horizons here at Microsoft. So, Horizon 1 might be something like just a cloud infrastructure, managing databases and applications, moving more into a Horizon 2, which would be now we're getting into things like artificial intelligence, mixed reality. Again, we have groups that's all they focus on are those kinds of things. Homomorphic encryption, which if you want to know what that is, that's basically you don't have to de-encrypt your data. You can basically run your applications against it, and it's decrypting it as it uses it. It's a security thing so that when you have data on the fly or data at rest, you're secure so you don't get hacked, right? And then then we get into things like quantum computing and glass storage, which speeds up a lot of the processing times for when people write applications. So these are some of the cool things that we kind of get involved with these kinds of customers, right? So we're in 95% of the Fortune 500 customers. We also work a lot with the U.S. federal customers, state and local, federal civilian agencies, DoD, and Homeland Security. So we are heavy supporters of our U.S. federal customers, as well as many Fortune 500 customers. And I've probably worked with maybe half of these on this slide right here. I've personally worked with half of them. So it's a lot of fun, challenging, but fun. And you get to see really cool different scenarios with each of these customers, and some of you're solving different business problems. So what does that mean for students? So Microsoft has a program called Aspire Experience for students. And basically this is it's used for undergrad and business of management MBAs, right? So what happens is we have recruiters that go out to these colleges and universities and will actually start talking with students about internships with Microsoft. It's something you would need to apply for through your university that you would come out of. So we typically look for people at the end of their 4-year degree or going into an MBA program. And the internship is paid internship, and they actually provide you with mentors and the education to learn how to work for a company like Microsoft and how to develop software and those kind of things. So very good program. There's some details there. If you hit that link at the bottom or go to careers.microsoft.com, you can actually get to this page if you would like. The other opportunity for students, let's just say you decide not to go to a 4-year program, but you'd still like to get involved with Microsoft. We have something called Imagine Cup, and this is a competition that we have every year. And it's basically, if you've got like a great idea for a product or a service or something like that, and you want to build it, you pull a team together, you register it, you'll get a mentor. Microsoft will assign you a mentor and will assign you, somebody to kind of help you through that process. And it's a worldwide competition. Over 2 million student competitors are involved in this, and it's across 100 different countries. So this is no joke. This is and our CEO, President Satya Nadella, he takes it very seriously, and it gets you a trip out there to meet the executive team, and if you end up in the finals. This is pretty much the competition schedule. So now is a good time to register if you're thinking about it. And they'll have online semifinals will be in February, and then world finals will be announced at a later date. Usually it's around kind of early summer, midsummer is when they do that. So these are a couple opportunities for students to get involved, and I think that's all I have. So feel free to send me some questions if you have them. Thank you.
That's awesome. I put the links in the chat to Imagine Cup. That sounds like something we would definitely want students to get involved in as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up, we have Simmus Inc. And I believe Aaron is going to make sure, let me know if you don't have share screen access, Aaron.
Yes, Simmus is happy to be here today. I'm the recruiter for Simmus, and Aaron will be presenting for us today. He's in our engineering department.
So I'll try to keep this as short as I can, because I want to have you guys, or leave you guys the availability to ask questions. But Simmus overall is a government contracting company. We have a number of different contracts with the government right now. A couple examples of those is the Joint Test and Evaluation. They are out of Suffolk, and they work with the Air Force, Marines, and Army to cross-examine systems and integrate systems across the different branches of the military for different use cases that they have and provide documentation. We have advanced distributive learning that works with the armed forces as well. Think of this as interactive training courses, Blackboard, Canvas type courses that they develop for the armed forces. But what I want to talk about today is our autonomous solutions. I'm the program manager for our autonomous solutions R&D team. I'll have a couple quick videos here for you guys to show off 3 products I want to talk about. What we're going to see here is our human type target. It's a mobile live fire targetry platform meant for advanced target engagement for elite military units. Think Army snipers or Navy SEALs are local to the area. And so they are a live fire hit detection platform that has a mobile electric base with 4 electric independent motors and hit detection plates inside the torsos. This is all developed in-house by Simmus, completely custom designed from, from the ground up. So we do everything from solder the boards. You can see on the left side of that image, there's an intern of ours named Lucy, who's soldering, micro soldering boards for us that we've custom developed in partnership with Vmask. Dr. Papelis has been a huge part of our team in helping us develop our electronics, help us with wiring, our core CPUs, our hit detection boards, and then in the bottom right, you can see our systems as they sit right here: solid rubber tires, AR500 steel, with custom batteries, custom electronics, custom made and purpose built for what we're working with. So going into what we've learned, in order to build these systems, we've had to go and develop, have a lot of side projects that end up adding value to the end products. One of those things is hit detection. So currently in the market, there's a few solutions for hit detection, but nothing that's purpose built for being on a mobile target. And so what we've been doing over the past 2 years is developing a hit detection sensor that when a bullet passes through, detects the presence of the bullet, its interaction with the medium, and then dropping the target to say, hey, I've been hit, signal to the shooter that they've hit the target, and it comes back up and keeps moving. So we're working on actually an academic paper to discuss this, because what you see here on the left side is the medium is all torn up, because what happens when the bullet interacts with it is it tears out, it blows through. So all the tearing that you see here is not the entry of the bullet, but the exit. And so our challenge is, how do we maintain, or how do we get from the left side where it's all torn up to the right side where the bullet hole and the exit wound is as small as possible? So our challenge is to find materials that are conductive, that create a circuit that we can detect the bullet using electricity. So we found that a bullet can be relatively unpredictable in its interaction with a medium. And so we're currently working on developing materials that are forgiving enough that when a bullet passes through the medium, it doesn't tear out at all. So we're working on releasing an academic paper about this with Dr. Rapellis of Simmus, or of Vmask in combination with SimIS. And so this is some of the technology that we're developing in-house to add to our live fire platform. Next, we'll talk about our ADRT, the Autonomous Robotic De-Escalation Trainer. It looks a little funny because it's a complete prototype at the moment, but basically the system is purpose built to be a police de-escalation trainer to reenact situations and help police, specifically new recruits, learn to deal and de-escalate conflict. And so the robot uses IBM Watson with an AI chatbot to understand the speech from the user and repeat back what an appropriate response would be. So we're currently working on developing sediment analysis systems that combines tone with volume with movement. So speed of your movements, how close you are, the proximity of the user to the robot. We've integrated LiDAR and camera systems and microphones to catch this information and process it to say, this person is moving at a high rate of speed towards me. They're yelling, that is an aggressive tone versus a soft-spoken, step-back manner. And then we've programmed the robot to adapt to such with compliant and non-compliant models to recreate traffic stops or domestic disturbances or noise complaints, or you name it. The police officer can select the type of scenario at once to go through and practice on that. So this is another robot that we're working on within SimIS. And then the last one is a brand new one that we're working on called the River Scout. It's a 4.5-foot autonomous vessel meant for brown water situations, for covert surveillance, data gathering, data capture, mesh network creation. So what we're really doing with this platform is creating an integration platform where we can integrate technology with it. So if there is a vendor in the marketplace that says, hey, we have the capability to create a mesh network, but we want to do that in remote areas on the water, we need your platform to do that because it's capable of going into rivers or lakes or remote areas that larger vessels cannot get into that we want to remain covert in. We work with them to integrate their technology onto our platform. So you see Chris here, one of our engineers. We're currently in a redevelopment phase. So what we're working on is redesigning the whole of the boat to optimize performance for both 1 and 2 jets. So we have on the top right a jet setup that he's currently catting up to fit inside the hole. And then we have a custom battery set up as well for a specific use case that we have. So those are the types of things that we're working on here at SimIS on a daily and a weekly basis. So we have a team of 10 engineers, half software, half mechanical. So 5 software, 5 mechanical engineers. And then this summer we had 7 interns, all of which I believe were from ODU. Just happened to be this past summer. And so they worked on all of these projects, from designing hit detection and testing hit detection, to working on optimal hole designs for the boat, to working on and programming the autonomous de-escalation robotic trainer for all kinds of different situations that we see out in the field. So this is what we work on. Denise might have a few comments about what our internships are. Denise?
Yes, so we are looking for interns. We're doing year-round internship. They are paid. So if anyone's interested, just get back in touch with me. I will include my email address in the chat.
All right, so next we have Alexis Shade and Carmiela Stokes with the SMART Scholarship. One of my students from the STEM Promise program received this scholarship, so I really want you all to know about it. So without further ado.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Can everyone see my screen? Awesome. Yes. Great. Thanks so much. And as you were saying, you know, we got this invite to this event today. Myself, I'm Alexis Shade, and my coworker, Carmelia Abercrombie Stokes, from one of our SMART Scholarship recipients. She was started off at TCC and was awarded our scholarship. She's now attending NYU to complete her bachelor's degree in computer science. And when she's done with that bachelor's degree, she has a guaranteed job waiting for her at the Air Force Space Command Space and Missile Systems Center in LA Air Force Base for her guaranteed employment after our scholarship. So we're here today with a really unique opportunity for those who are looking for, yes, jobs in the future, but what about for the now of how to pay for school, how to get internship experience, and again, that guaranteed job at the end. So the SMART Scholarship is a Department of Defense scholarship for service. We work with over 200 of our sponsoring facilities across the Army, Navy, Air Force, and other DoD components, and they utilize our scholarship program as their workforce development. So they come to us looking for the best and brightest scientists, researchers, engineers, so that they can, fund your degree and mentor you, develop you as a young professional, and hire you upon your graduation. So if you're looking for a one-time, application, scholarship opportunity, and not have to think about the next couple of years, this is a great opportunity. So with our presentation today, we know it's a little short, so we're just going to go over the benefits of the SMART program, the eligibility requirements, and then just let you know that we have a webinar coming up in about a week that will go over a lot more detail about our scholarship opportunity. So what we do is one application to the SMART program is for full tuition to be paid. SMART pays full tuition for bachelor's, master's, and PhD students, anywhere from 1 year's worth of funding up to 5 years worth of funding for you to be able to complete a degree in a STEM field. There's no cap on tuition. So wherever you're able to attend, we will fund that full tuition. We provide all of our scholarship recipients with an annual stipend to live on during the school year. That's $25,000 for a bachelor's, $33,000 for a master's level student, and $38,000 for a PhD student. We also provide a book allowance and a health insurance allowance for all of our students as well, and that is an annual allowance. And we offer the opportunity for you to attend an 8 to 12 week internship with the DoD organization that selects you for our scholarship, and you'll be working with upon graduation. So during that 8 to 12 week internship period, some of those internships, if you have to travel the distance to get to the internship, we pay additional funding for those internships. So a really great opportunity to not have to think about how to pay for tuition, not have to think about how to pay your monthly bills. It's a very well-funded scholarship. So a little bit more about the benefits. That 8 to 12 week internship, we link you up with a mentor at your sponsoring facility so that you are working in the department with the future supervisors, coworkers, other smart scholars. We've awarded over 3,000 scholarships since we began in 2006. So a lot of our sponsoring facilities already have smart students there, smart students still working for them, and they get embedded back into our scholarship mentoring program. So you'll have a really great opportunity to get really acquainted with your future work in the Department of Defense. And then once you graduate, we have a direct hiring authority that allows a very clear and streamlined process for you to go from student to full-time civilian professional within the DoD. And I keep using the term civilian just to delineate between active duty, which is not what we are, but the civilian scientists, researchers, and engineers that support the mission of the Department of Defense. So this is a great career opportunity to get started within the Department of Defense and have your school paid for. And because we're a scholarship for service program, there is a service commitment requirement, meaning that for every 1 year worth of school that we fund for you, you owe us back in the form of full-time civilian employment with the DoD when you graduate. So in our example of Arlie, once Arlie graduates, they will have a 2-year commitment. We funded 2 years of the bachelor's degree. They'll owe 2 years of full-time employment, getting jobs, collecting benefits, getting a start in your career. And so it's a really, really great opportunity. In order to be eligible for our program, you must be a US citizen. You must maintain a GPA of 3.0 on a 4.0 scale at all times. You must be pursuing a STEM field, and you must be able to obtain a security clearance, which is a requirement to work for the federal government. And you must be willing to complete your internships and accept employment with that DoD agency that selects you. So at a very high level, that's kind of the top points of our career. We really encourage you to check out our social media platforms. We highlight smart scholars all the time. We award about 400 to 500 scholarships a year, and we've had over 3,000 since our program began. So we highlight what our smart students are doing during their service commitment or even beyond. We have a 92% success rate of all of our scholars completing their commitments, and we have a percentage well into the 75th percent of students that maintain their employment with the DoD and just continue their careers as a civilian scientist, researcher, and engineer. So check out our social media platforms, check out our website. Our application to this program is open from 1 August to 1 December every year. So there's just a month left of our application window in order to apply to the program. And if you all are interested, Ms. Stokes is going to copy and paste our links here for how to sign up for our webinar. We're going to do a webinar, Let's Hit Submit, in about a week and a half's time. That will be a 1-hour presentation with a lot more detail about how to apply to the program, what are the requirements to apply to the program, how to make your essays and applications stand out, how to network with our sponsoring facilities, and a lot of other really great tips to get you a greater chance of getting a scholarship through our program. So I know we're really short on time, so I'll stop there. So thank you all so very much. And we hope any questions, we'll hang around to the end of the presentation so we can answer those.
Thank you so much. That is an awesome program. So you all please join that webinar if you can. All right. I'm going to just pause really quick and ask if InMotion Hosting is in the building.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. All right, awesome. So we need to give you share screen access.
All right. Well, everybody, welcome to InMotion Hosting. We are a web hosting and web design company. So as everybody else has been saying, this is going to be a very short presentation, but we are going to get through it. So let's go ahead. So what we are going to cover today, just a little bit about who we are, we are going to skip a few things in here, but just so we kind of get through it all. So kind of who our history. So kind of we are founded in Los Angeles in kind of 2001, and that's really where we started off. And then we moved to Virginia Beach in 2004, and that is our our largest office. And then into 2016, we opened our Denver, Colorado office, and we really wanted to be kind of in the center of the US, and that's our mid-size office right now, and that's actually where I'm located. So I'm a ways from you guys right now. And then kind of where we started to grow and kind of where we started to innovate is kind of, we started our web ventures team, and then kind of in 2020, kind of 2019, we also started our cloud hosting. That's where we kind of started to branch out from our regular kind of VPS, our dedicated servers, and our shared servers as well. So that's where we really started to branch out and grow from our regular, just our regular hosting plans. And then just this year, actually, we celebrated our 20th anniversary, and we are still going strong. So career paths that we actually offer here at InMotion, we offer a wide range of career paths. So anywhere in InMotion Hosting is you can grow with us. So whether that's customer service, technical support, development, advanced system networking, really anywhere you can grow. And any one of these positions you can touch into these new fields that we offer. So really anywhere you can grow into these new fields. So kind of inside InMotion is where we've really innovated. So we offer a lot of professional development as well as walk-a-day programs. So when you're in the position is where you can really start to grow. So we can do walk-a-day programs. So you can actually go shadow the different departments and kind of see what it's like to be in those different positions. So after you start out in a position, you can grow into those other ones. But if you're not really sure where you want to grow to, you can actually go sit down with one of those departments and see what it's like to be in those different roles. And then you've also got career pathing. So if you're actually not sure where you want to go to, you can actually come back to recruitment, sit down with us, and see kind of what skills you have and where you think you'd be best fit within the company. And kind of for those students that, since right now we don't have any internships, what I would recommend for you is our technical pipeline program. This is a free online go at your own pace program that really helps you get up to speed with some of the things that would be for our entry levels. This is a 60-day program that gives you access to our trainers. It's a really great way for you to build up those skills for our entry level position. This is great for not only our technical support role, but also our customer service role as well. And then, of course, these are all of our open roles right now. I highly recommend our technical support role to any TCC student. And then if you have any question, this is our recruiter's email and then our InMotion Hosting email.
So next we have Kim Freeman, and she's with the Virginia Department of Forensic Science. So exciting.
So I am a forensic scientist in the forensic biology section at the Eastern Laboratory that's located in Norfolk, Virginia. So I'm just going to go over a quick overview of our laboratory section and each of what the sections do. So we have 4 regional testing laboratories. Our central laboratory is located in Richmond. Our Eastern Laboratory is located in Norfolk. Northern is in Manassas and Western is in Roanoke. The map on the right shows the breakdown of territories. So each laboratory has is broken up kind of based on population. So the square mileage is not necessarily the same, but the population of those areas is going to be. So each of the police departments and police agencies, state police within the each of the regions is going to submit their evidence to their designated laboratory. The calibration laboratory is located in Richmond as well. These are the disciplines that we have throughout the state. Some of the sections, such as trace evidence, are only located in certain regional laboratories, and the breath alcohol section is only in the central laboratory. For forensic biology, the DNA data bank is also only located in the central laboratory. So a quick overview of each of the sections, what they do. The breath alcohol analysis is obviously analyzing the blood alcohol content of a person who is operating a motor vehicle, engine, or train. Hopefully you all know that the blood alcohol concentration of the limit is 0.08%. So that is what they are testing for. The breath alcohol section does a lot of testing and calibration of the instruments and training of the instruments that the local police will use, and they will go on site to help calibrate those as well as keep up with training. Controlled substances, they are going to be analyzing physical evidence for the presence of controlled substances, both legal and illegal, such as marijuana and cannabinoid agents. The new law that has decriminalized marijuana under certain amounts is causing the controlled substances section to have to readjust their submission policies, as well as the agency trying to figure out how we handle it for employees. Digital multimedia evidence is just going to be what it says. It's going to be dealing with any digital forensics that involves the scientific examination and analysis of electronically stored information, cell phones, computers, laptops, anything in a digital form. That can include trying to break the passcode in order to gain access to someone's cell phone. It also deals with could be like video surveillance that from robberies and crime scenes, things like that. Firearms and tool marks. Again, this is going to be the forensic discipline that its main goal is to identify a tool mark to a tool. The different types, they do a lot of different types of exams, such as function testings of firearms to determine if the safety features of the firearms are functioning. They'll compare fired bullets recovered from crime scenes to determine if they were fired from the firearm in question. They will also compare firearms that have been removed from an individual's body at autopsy to determine if they could have been fired from a specific firearm in question. They will examine pellet or gunshot residue patterns to determine shooter distance. They will restore destroyed serial numbers or characters, so it doesn't always work, and compare tools to tool marks. We also have, in addition to the firearms examiners, there are the NIBIN examiners, the National Integrated Ballistics and Integrated Network, I believe it is, whose sole purpose is to fire firearms to get the test cartridges for comparison to be uploaded into NIBIN. Biology, this is my jam. We do body fluid testing and DNA analysis. We work on a lot of different cases, such as homicides, robberies, burglaries. The majority of our cases, to be honest, are sexual assaults. That makes up about a quarter to a third of our cases. Non-sexual assaults, and we also do body IDs. Body fluid testing that we test for now is going to be blood and seminal fluid. And we also do a lot of touch cases that deal with touch DNA, such as DNA that an individual will leave behind after touching a item, such as, a firearm, a stolen car that may touch a steering wheel. You leave your DNA pretty much anywhere, and that's where we come in. Latent prints and impressions. Latent prints are going to be basically fingerprints that may be left behind at a crime scene. The foundation of the latent print comparison is based on two premises: the uniqueness, no two fingerprints have been found to have the same arrangement of friction-rich skin unless from the same source, and the persistence. So your fingerprints develop before birth and remain the same until after death, barring any serious injury, which is how fingerprint identifications come in. There are some individuals across the state who are also trained in I want to say it's tire impressions or footwear impressions, but that's only a subset of the latent print examiners. Toxicology is going to aim to identify and quantify the presence of alcohol, drugs, or other toxic substances in biological specimens. They will test blood samples, vitreous humor, urine, a bunch of different body fluids. So if body fluids gross you out, probably don't want to be in the toxicology or forensic biology section. And the trace section is more of a catch-all for everything else. They will look at explosives, fire debris. They're involved in a lot of arson cases to determine what the accelerant was. They will do paint analyses, glass, hairs and fibers, primer residue, lamp filaments, fracture match. So they're used a lot in hit and run accidents and arson cases. So this is the general requirements for employment. We generally require to be a forensic scientist a bachelor's degree in a biological or physical science. And I think that that is going to be consistent across any forensic science laboratory that you encounter. Advanced degrees are helpful, but not required. I received my bachelor's in biology, but I did go and get my master's in forensic molecular biology, and I'm going back to school in January. Forensic toxicologists do have a PhD in chemistry, toxicology, or pharmacology. That's because the requirements of their job, specifically testifying, require them to testify to how a chemical substance or a drug will react in a body and may cause a person to react to that substance. Forensic laboratory specialists are our version of a technician who support the examiners. They are entry-level positions. They require a minimum of a high school diploma, but a bachelor's degree is preferred. And in order to be competitive, a bachelor's degree would probably be best. Additional requirements for employment. We do require a background check or criminal conviction investigation to make sure that you don't have any felony convictions in your past. Collection of a DNA sample is also required, such as a buccal swab, because you are working in a laboratory and may come in contact with evidence. And to prevent contamination or to be able to detect it, we need to have all staff DNA profiles on file. And you must also be legally authorized to work in the US. Another condition for employment is random drug testing. Again, now that marijuana has been decriminalized, the department is still trying to figure out our policies on this, but it has not been allowed for us to be used, and it will probably remain that way, as it should, because we are working in we're working on criminal cases, but you will be subjected to random drug testing throughout your tenure at the department. Requirements specifically to be a forensic DNA analyst. These are set forth by the FBI quality assurance standards for forensic and DNA databasing laboratories. It is a standard to be able to operate and upload samples to CODIS, which is a combined DNA index system. It's a national DNA database. Individuals must have a minimum degree of a bachelor's in biology, chemistry, or a forensic science related area. They're required to have, I believe it's 9 credit hours of coursework in biochemistry, genetics, molecular biology, as well as stats and or population genetics. And they must have 6 months of forensic human DNA laboratory experience. So an internship would enable you to meet that requirement. These are helpful links. I would like to share my screen. So I do have the link to employment opportunities with Virginia DFS. Here, that is, let's see, this is the Virginia Department of Forensic Science website. If you go under About DFS, it will have employment opportunities, and this will be all of our postings, job postings, and different employment opportunities. Unfortunately, we do not offer internships often. However, we do have select internships for graduate students that are working. I believe we've done them with VCU in Richmond before, and we've had internships there that have worked on their research projects, have fulfilled that requirement for their degree at the Central Laboratory, or even here at the Eastern Laboratory. We have had them come and do their research at the Eastern Laboratory. Additionally, the American Academy of Forensic Sciences is an organization that has all of employment opportunities that will be nationwide listed on their website. You can also be a student member of the American Academy of Forensic Sciences. I do not believe if they require a fee for it as a student affiliate. However, if it is, it's going to be severely reduced from what the associate or regular members is, but it is a good resource and opportunity to see what nationwide positions are available. And it will have, anywhere from entry level to technical leaders in laboratories. So I would highly encourage you to take a look at the AFS website and kind of poke around in it. And there's the AskLab.org, that is also the American Society of Crime Lab Directors. They also have jobs listed on their website, which I have included as well. I know that was a very brief overview. If you have any additional questions that you don't feel like asking in the chat, please feel free to email me directly. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Kim. Great information. We have tons of students who are in the forensic science certificate program here and just getting the associate of science program degree to prepare for that career. So thank you for sharing. All right, so last but definitely not least, we have Elizabeth River Crossing. And I just want to put a plug in here that this organization donates directly to the STEM Promise program. So thank you for your donations and helping our students succeed. All right, so we have Ms. Whitney Ballard with us today.
Yes, hello everyone and good afternoon. My name is Whitney Ballard and I am the HR coordinator here at Elizabeth River Crossings, an Alberta's company located in Portsmouth, Virginia. Here at ERC, we work in connection with VDOT in a 58-year contract to operate and maintain the Elizabeth River Tunnel project between the cities of Portsmouth and Norfolk. Also, we do have a call center that is in connection with the project as well. A lot of people know that we have tolls that are at our Midtown and Downtown Tunnel. So our call center is here to assist the customers with any type of payments, questions that they may have or concerns. A lot of people do assume that we are EasyPass. So we are here to answer those questions, but also direct them to EasyPass to assist them as well. One thing I wanted to also discuss is the project and what that consists of. So the first part is the downtown tunnel. The downtown tunnel, which has an average of 72,000 vehicles travel the downtown tunnel daily. And on the weekday, we have a volume average of 81,000 vehicles, while on the weekend, we have a standard volume of 52,000. Another part of our project is the MLK Expressway. And as you can see, there's an average of 45,000 vehicles that travel the MLK Expressway daily, and this is on the Portsmouth side of the project. Also, on the weekday, the volume is 51,000 vehicles, while the standard volume on the weekend is 31,000. Then we have the Midtown Tunnel. This has, on average, 32,000 vehicles in the that go through the Midtown Tunnel daily. On the weekday, on average, is 36 vehicles, while the standard volume for the weekend is 23,000. So I'm not sure if anyone has ever been familiar with the area before 2016, but the Midtown Tunnel used to be one tunnel with bi-directional lanes of traffic riding through it. So that means within the tunnel, there was traffic going to Norfolk, and then there was another traffic flow going to Portsmouth at the same time since 1962. And as you can see at the bottom, I have a picture of what the Midtown Tunnel used to look like and what it looks like right now. So with the addition of the new tunnel and the MLK Expressway, it has improved the safe travels of our motorists between both cities. So have you ever wondered how a tunnel is built? I know I have. The most common question I hear, how do you build a tunnel underwater? And to answer that question, tunnels are not built underwater. For us, our tunnels were built in Merlin and tugboat over through the Elizabeth River over to our Portsmouth and Norfolk side. So what I have today for you is to show you a 3-minute video of how the Midtown Tunnel was created through our EarthCamp. So I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. How do you? Okay, let me know when you see it and I'll play.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay.
Might have to share audio. Does it have audio?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like it might be just music though.
How do you share the audio? Is there a way to share the audio? Oh, it's just music.
Okay, you can go ahead and play it then.
Okay. So this is the Norfolk side. This is our Portsmouth side of it. Here's where the tunnels were built in Maryland. Right here is where they built another part of the facility that is connected to the tunnel that's near it. All right, thank you.
That was really cool. I'm not even gonna lie, I did think you built tunnels under the water. So that is an awesome discovery. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All right, well, I just want to say thank you, everybody who stayed on just to hear the presentation.